Hey guys, Savage Recovery back for another video. How are my savages doing? Wanting to go live here because I have a story of a local woman here in Cleveland, and it actually happens to be a good friend of mine from my past. And this story is sad, but the story is also a lesson to some of the things that guys in the manosphere talk about, and also this should be a lesson for women in general. Um, I just want to say rest in peace to Darnesha Johnson. She was like all of us, we all have our flaws, but she was decent. She was decent to me, and she was decent to my ex Corey. She was a good soul. She was troubled. She had her problems just like everybody else, but definitely she was a good soul. Let's get into this article. Feds arrest suspect. Okay, I'm going to go back to the first article because the first article is actually more important. We'll go back to the start of this incident. Woman dies on I-77 after being shot. The Cleveland police is investigating the homicide of 26-year-old woman. Passerby spotted the victim along the berm of the Interstate 77 North near the Woodland exit and called 911. Officers responded at about 12:45 Saturday. The victim was non-responsive and pronounced dead at the scene of the crime. The police said she suffered multiple gunshot wounds to her head and neck. No arrests have been made. So they ended up getting her boyfriend. A man wanted in connection with the shooting and death of a woman whose body was found on I-77 was arrested Wednesday by federal officers. His name is Dinra Chrysum. I'm honestly butchering that name. I apologize. I don't know the proper way to say that name. I've never met this guy. I don't know who this guy is. He was also 26, was found by members of the Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force hiding in the upstairs bedroom of a home on the 33rd block of Myers Avenue in Cleveland's Clark Fulton neighborhood. He was wanted by police in Cleveland on a homicide charge. Police believe he was responsible for the death of Darnesha Johnson, 26, of Cleveland, who was found dead on I-77 near the exit of the Woodland Avenue and East 30th Street on March 20th. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office ruled Johnson dead of a gunshot wound to the neck. Homicide detectives identified him as suspect shortly after Johnson's body was found. Members of the task force were able to track him to the home on the west side just east of Fulton Road. So the reason that I'm doing this live stream is because back when I was using, I was in contact with her boyfriend at the time. Her boyfriend at the time was a person that I was dealing with. I was buying dope from him. I'm going to bring up the article. But I was dealing with him. So I was dealing with him back when I was using, and obviously, like, these two were good people. They were good people. So here's my dude D. Richtown drug dealer gets 11 years in prison. This is my dude D. As you can see right here in this clip, this is Darnesha Johnson. This was D's girlfriend. They were dating at the time when I was hanging out with them, and they always treated me good. We always had a good relationship. I stayed with them many times. But a drug dealer caught in March selling heroin, fentanyl, and cocaine out of his Richtown apartment during an undercover Portage County Drug Task Force operation will spend up to the next 11 years in prison, a judge has ruled. Demetrius Harris, 40, was sentenced Monday, August 28th in Portage County Common Pleas Court to more than a decade for selling and possessing illegal narcotics, according to the court records. Judge Pittman also fined Harris $5,000 and ordered him to pay another $291 in court costs. He also forfeited $1,924 in illegal drug profits, which will be split up by the Drug Task Force and Portage County Prosecutor's Office. Harris received 8 years in prison for possession of cocaine, a second-degree felony, and 36 months on an aggravated trafficking charge to run consecutive to each other. Six additional 12-month prison sentences on various drug charges were ordered to run concurrent on each other and concurrent to the other two charges for a total of 11 years. Harris received credit for 20 days served in Portage County Jail while awaiting trial, and also had his driver's license suspended for 5 years, according to Pittman's sentencing order. Drug Task Force agents caught Harris and two other people selling multiple drugs during a 3-week operation not far from the campus of Richtown School District on State Route 44. Agents monitoring the coming and going of the apartment. A number of people selling and buying drugs. Undercover agents also made buys, and some of the drugs they recovered had found to contain fentanyl, a powerful prescription painkiller added to drugs such as heroin and cocaine that is responsible for many overdose deaths in Portage County in the past several years. So this article is from, when is this article from? This is from 2017. We're in 2021. So about 4 years ago, her boyfriend and her got arrested. Now, I bring this up because even though D was selling drugs, he wasn't a shady guy. He wasn't a bad-hearted dude in general. Like, I never had an interaction with him or hanging out with them that thought that he was going to rob or be grimy or do stuff like that. He just sold drugs. That was the thing he did. I'm not saying that selling drugs is good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, besides him selling drugs, he was a good-hearted dude. He wasn't a bad guy. So we fast forward to 4 years later, and Darnesha was in Cleveland, and she was dating another guy. And this right here is the guy that she was dating. And she lost her life. What makes this story sad? What makes this story sad is on March 19th on her Facebook page, she posted that her wedding was going to be great. She was talking about marriage. I think that her and her boyfriend was going to be getting married. At least that's what I had concluded from the Facebook post. She was found March 20th dead and dumped in her car on the highway. And she had multiple gunshots to her head and her neck. Last night on last night I got a phone call from a friend of mine, and I say my ex-girlfriend, the girl that I was dating while I was using, she also used. We ended up hanging, like, we both hung out with these people all the time. We actually ended up crashing at an apartment out in Windham, Ohio with them many times. So when she contacted me and said, "Hey, did you hear what happened to Darnesha?" She didn't have to tell me that she was found dead. She didn't have to tell me this. I already knew just by her asking me, "Have I found out about this?" Now, she was 26. I've been sober for 6 years. So she was 19 to 20 years old when me and my girlfriend were hanging out with her. So she was young. Now, I'm not making this video because I'm not trying to talk shit about her. I'm not trying to disrespect her or her family. The reason that I'm bringing this up is because there are certain behaviors that we talk about inside the red pill in the manosphere. And I can personally tell you that when I hung out with Darnesha liked to drink. And I had seen her many times get violent with D. I one time had seen D after she hit him in the head with a glass ashtray, and he had to get stitches and stapled in his head. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because the guy that ended up allegedly killing her, he had domestic violence charges on his record. He had drug possession charges. He had menacing charges. He had a lot of crimes that are good indicators for women that he's not a good dude. The drug charges, that I don't care about all that. But the fact that he had domestic violence charges, even if in a world where a woman lies on a man and says that he hit her and he did not, if you're a woman that's dating somebody, you should be doing a background check on somebody. And you should also, even if the allegation was false, dropped, any of these things, you should always heed warning to these charges. I know for a fact that she would get violent when she drank. Last I knew, she had gotten sober 4 years ago when she got arrested. After she got out, she was sober. What's up, everybody? She had got sober and she was making changes in her life. But if I go back and I show you the pictures, like this right here looks like a bar. This looks like a bar right here in this picture. I'll show you guys the picture so you can see it. I'm not saying that she was back to drinking or not. No one's going to send people to retaliate against me. As you can see right here, this is a bar. So maybe she was still sober. Maybe she wasn't. All right. But the reason that I'm bringing this up is because I know it, like, it's been years since me and her have hung out because I've been sober. And when I moved to Cleveland and got my life together, I haven't gone back and hung out with any of the people or lived in the places that I used to be. I haven't lived in Ravenna since I left. I haven't lived in Windham since I left and got sober. I came to Cleveland and got sober, and I've stayed here, and I've been raising my kids here. But I know back then that she did like to drink, and that she did get mouthy and violent. The reason that I'm bringing this up is because, as you can tell, on the 19th of March, she said that her wedding would be great. She was happy and hopeful, and within a day, they found her dead. And that should be a warning to anybody, any woman out here that is aggressive, any of these things. All it takes is getting aggressive and violent with the wrong dude, and things like this happen. And She was dating a guy that had bad charges. She was with a guy that was obviously he wasn't good. He ended up allegedly killing her. Like she leaves a son. Back when I was using, I used to help her son with his homework. Me and my girlfriend did. We adored her son. Her son was, even though me and my girlfriend were fucked up at the time, we still adored her son and still gave her son attention and helped him with his homework. And I haven't seen her son since I was using, but my ex was at the Steelyard Walmart like a year or two ago, and her son remembered her and walked up and said hello. Last I know, her son was with her dad, which I'm hoping that he still is. But this is just a lesson to women out there. The men that you date and the way that you behave, it it only takes a second for everything in your life to change. Women, please be careful out there. Please be careful. Be careful and make better decisions. And that's coming from somebody that used to be a dirtbag. I really do hope word gets to D that Darnesha is passed. I know it's going to be some time before he gets back onto the street, but I do hope that he finds out sooner than later that she's gone, and I do hope that I hope the family can grieve and the family can get some justice on this, because this is a senseless murder. Someone that you're dating, to leave them on the highway in their car dead, like that, it's a shame. That's a shame. And I hope this dude gets convicted. I hope it's proven that he was the one that committed the murder, and I hope that when he goes to prison, I hope that people have heard about the case and they treat him accordingly. But for any of the women that watches, please be very cautious of the men that you date. And please quit being masculine and aggressive. I understand that women have gone through life thinking that they can be aggressive and physically assault men because they've gotten away with it for so long, and it's overlooked. But I can tell you that you can only play that act with so many men, because eventually you're going to come across a man that's going to pull your card. And at the end of the day, if he is willing to hit you after you whoop on him, at that point, there's no turning back. He's getting in trouble. And if he's mad enough, he will kill you. At that point, he has nothing left to lose. Thank you guys for your condolences. Death is a part of life. This isn't the first friend of mine that's been murdered or died. But I do want to send the condolences to the family. It's sad that a girl that was only 26 with kids is gone over. I don't know specifically. They haven't said why she was killed or any. No, I don't know anything about what had led up to this prior. All I know is that a friend of mine was killed by a man that she was dating, and his charges indicate that he was not good. He was not good company to keep. So anyone that sees this video, please share this with any female friends that you have, or any of your daughters, or any women that you know that exert aggressive behavior or be dating low quality men. As always, guys, I appreciate your time. Stay savage.